Hey, Warren, I've got a question for you this week about taking a book and publishing it, but marketing it through Facebook. I've got lots of Facebook friends. I've been working on a fiction book myself, but I know a lot of people that are writing books of different types, nonfiction, fiction, what have you. What's the appropriate way, or so you don't piss off your friends, but also what's the good way to market through Facebook where you actually get results too, when you're trying to, share that book out there? What's your advice?
Great. Well, this is the basic problem anybody in business has with Facebook. Do you divide off personal and business, or what do you do? The way I handle it is everything I do is open to everybody. I'm sure there are people that were friends that have dropped me because they didn't like what I was talking about. And I believe my kids were the first people on the face of the planet that figured out how to stay friends with somebody but block everything they post. Because I do post a lot on a lot of topics. But, and it can be tailored. But let's get into really what you want to do. Social media is not a medium to broadcast something and sell things. And actually, for that matter, if McDonald's is advertising on TV, yeah, they'd like you to drop what you're doing and run down to McDonald's and buy a burger, but that's not why they're advertising on TV. They're advertising on TV so that when you are in the car looking for a place to get a quick meal, McDonald's will come to mind. And that's the kind of advertising that's going to work best on social media. So let's take that back to where you are as an author or any small business. Mm-hmm. You need to get known. You need to be attracting the kind of people that want to do business with you, and in this case, read your book. And absolutely, as an author today, you want to be available to your readers. My expectation today when I read a book is I can reach out and leave a comment the same as I can on a blog post. So I want to be able to give feedback, continue that conversation, and it's not a one-way medium. So if you think about it in those terms, that you're building a community of people that are interested in this subject, you're going to go where people are already talking about your subject, and if it's fiction, they're talking about the same kind of novels or whatever, and you're going to participate there. And you're going to show that you're more than just somebody who sits in an ivory tower, writes a book, and expects people to read it. I don't think I've ever met anybody who lives in an ivory tower. Not sure how you go about finding one.
Do you set up a page for the book, or for the author, or both, or on the marketing? So, how do you set it up for that connection?
Well, today I'm of the opinion that no one buys a book within reason. I mean, obviously, if you're into French cooking and you go to the cookbook section and there's a really good looking book about French cooking that has a recipe you want, you'll buy that cookbook and maybe not look at the author. There's some collaboration type of things. But you know what? They were all set up in the old media, more like a magazine way of doing things. And with that exception, we're looking to get the thoughts of somebody who is an expert on a topic. Most of my clients and most of the people probably listening to this are looking for, how do I get my nonfiction title where I'm talking about something I'm an expert on promoted so that it helps me in business. And again, most of the money you'll make is outside of the book. And so most of the reputation you get is outside of the covers of that book. So on Facebook or any social media or any place today, it's about finding the people that are already interested, the people already reading your book, or the people that would be interested because they're reading another book, and then engaging in a conversation wherever you can. That's personal. That's the author. Now, right. If you're a company and your boss wrote a book and you wanted to get known, well, then you become a spokesman for the company that talks about the subject of the book. Somebody has to be an expert, has to be a persona. One of the great marketing stories of the last century was Betty Crocker. Betty Crocker never existed. And they were able to create a facade, a persona that they were able to sell things with. And of course, Betty Crocker got updated over the years, and it was kind of fun to watch that Betty Crocker didn't get old. She just, better technology for drawing her or whatever. And, it did, as far as I can remember, they never even tried it on television. And now with today's media, the idea of introducing a new character who doesn't really exist and then talking to them, because Betty Crocker got mail from day one, and people would answer the mail. And again, didn't matter whether or not that mail was signed Betty Crocker or not. You had the expectation that you were talking to the Betty Crocker brand and you're going to get the help you want, and that's about all. You didn't really worry about the whole backstory of who she was. Today, it's so obvious. It's so easy to see through any facade. I don't recommend trying it at all. Again, exceptions would be Mickey Mouse, That doesn't mean Mickey Mouse has to take off the character head and talk to you. It's not going to fit into every situation. But I found in the majority of the authors I've talked to, especially nonfiction, that what you're trying to do is get a message out that's not just what's stuck between the covers of the book. And I say for fiction, children's books, anything that's not covered by that, then it's a matter of getting the brand known, and then you may want to create something like a Facebook page for the character or something like that. But in most cases, just a matter of being available, being out there, having a page for the book, for the author. It's kind of a personal choice. I was anti-fan page until they stopped calling them fan pages. And I finally did one for myself. It was a disaster for me. I got a few hundred people liking the page, and I could say people liked me, but they weren't fans, and I just didn't feel good about it. So I went back to just using my profile. Sure enough, Facebook changed what they were doing and allowed me to have thousands of subscribers on my profile, and then open up and share that with everybody. So, a personal preference for me is to not worry too much about the pages, but we're setting up pages for almost every project that we do right now, just because, you want to be available if people find you. One more thing, a general social media idea. Any place your audience is, make sure you're represented. So, it doesn't have to be that's a primary thing you're using it to grow. It has to be there. If somebody looks up for your profile, if you're an author and you don't have a LinkedIn profile, to think you're not a professional at it. You need to have a YouTube channel. It may not be your videos, but maybe a selection of videos that you and your staff put together that support the topic. Same with Twitter. Twitter is used as feeds, and it's also used for one-to-one communication. I like the latter, but you want to make sure that you're represented, and once you're represented, you got to monitor it. So when somebody asks a question, you can answer it. And you listen to what the audience is saying, you answer them, you give them what they're looking for, they'll come back, they'll love you and come back for more. It's as simple as that.
Makes perfect sense. Well, thanks a lot. So my takeaways are it's people want to talk to a person, not to a page. Doesn't hurt to cover yourself with having a page for something just as the place to mark it out in case the rules change on Facebook, but be prepared to have somebody there talking to people and wherever they are, they're talking about
Sure.
it. Makes
Sure,
sense.
and of course, if you get 10,000 fans on a Facebook page, you may want to plan, put on there. You may want to do it for 10. That's a personal preference of how much you want to get into that. I, of course, recommend getting engagement on the page, but as you said, you can just let the page sit there for now.
Sounds great. Well, appreciate it very much. Those are some super helpful tips, and we'll talk to you soon.